never had the privilege of studying at Machon Pardes. However, I consider myself part of the Pardes extended family as a result of numerous friends of mine from over the years who have studied at, taught at, and supported this vital institution of Torah learning. Among my closest friends who attended Pardes were Matt Eisenfeld and Sara Duker, Zichronam Livracha. Matt and Sara were my friends. Matt was my rabbinical school classmate at the Jewish Theological Seminary. He was dating Sara, whom I knew from the Columbia Barnard community. They were the best of their generation, who dreamed of fixing a broken world. As an aspiring rabbi, Matt dreamed of creating a yeshiva in North America that would change the face of the Jewish community to be more learned and pluralistic. Sara would have been a great environmental scientist and Jewish lay leader. Alas, their dreams were shattered on February 25, 1996. Matt and Sara were murdered on the number 18 bus in Jerusalem in a brutal suicide bombing. After their death, I compiled a scrapbook for JTS containing many of Matt and Sara's writings on Jewish topics, including journal entries, essays, and scholarly papers. 2 decades later, I realized that the entire world needed to know about their writings. My new book, Love Finer Than Wine, introduces Matt and Sara through their own words. We will never know the full extent of what they would have accomplished, but their writings are an extraordinary legacy, moving us with their original insights into Jewish texts and their vision for creating a stronger and more pluralistic Jewish community. I'd like to share some brief excerpts. In an award-winning essay on Israel, Sara, then 22, asks, "Does Israel have a moral banner higher than most democracies? Are those Jews who founded and live in the state stronger and more Jewish?" The answers seem easy to a Jewishly active college student until she is confronted with Israel, the hijacked state, emblazoned on a pamphlet. These words sound like a typical American Jewish college student on a campus today confronting the BDS movement. But they're not. They were written by Sara over 20 years ago. Both Matt and Sara kept journals in which they confided their inner thoughts, dreams, and struggles. One of Matt's entries that strikes me is from when he studied at Yeshivat HaMivtar in Efrat. He writes of his Talmud study there, 24th of Kislev, 5754, December 8, 1993. "I'm here pursuing a love that will never end, unlike any other love in the world." But study wasn't all that drove Matt. Matt sought action. Nearly 2 years earlier, as a student at Yale, he writes, January 3rd, 1992, "We had a Shabbat dinner that I organized Friday night. It went well, but Sue asked for a moment of silence to think about those less fortunate than ourselves. Though at the time I could not explain why the moment made me uneasy, and I felt it to be inappropriate, now I understand. Moments of silence do very little, if anything at all. In my opinion, a more appropriate action in this context of thinking about the less fortunate would be to initiate a discussion about what we can do." These are brief glimpses into the souls of Matt and Sara as young idealistic adults in their early 20s. I invite you to get to know them better through their own words, through their own Torah that I have compiled in Love Finer Than Wine. Before I close, I wish to thank Rav Landis and Rav Levenkrus for their gracious support as I produced this book, as well as many other friends in the Pardes world without whose help this book wouldn't exist. A generation has passed, yet Matt and Sara still call to us. Yehi Zichram Baruch. May their memory be for a blessing.